30. Refresh me again on what you're using. I think you were using are you using like a 2-element beam?
I'm using a 4-element beam, and it's up about 155 feet.
Okay, 4-element. Well, that's what it is then. 4-element beam. So it's not that much different than what Dave has. So he has 6-element, and it's what 100 and some plus feet. So it's not all that much different.
Yeah, Dave's got just an awesome signal, and I guess it's on a crane. He puts it up in the morning and pulls it down when he goes QRT or at midnight.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. K982 from N2LKR. That's the beauty of it. Yeah, they were talking about lightning and grounding on here the other night. And Dave says, well, he says, I don't really have to worry about it too much. He says, I just go out and lower it, you know. And he says it takes like 3 minutes or something to bring everything down to the ground level. So that's what he does. He just brings it, if he sees the slightest hint of threatening weather, either if lightning's getting close or if the winds are getting too high, everything comes down.
Yeah, well, at least you'll be able to sleep well at night.
Oh yeah. I'll watch the lightning map for him during the season, you know, and it's coming up soon. I'll keep an eye on that, and sometimes I've let him know, and then Martin will let him know. Anybody has a computer that has access to the lightning data can let him know pretty quick, because he doesn't use any of that, you know, he doesn't have a computer.
Right, I think he has no internet, right?
No, he doesn't. I thought I heard him say one night he had satellite TV or something, which he could get the internet through that, but of course he'd have to have a computer or a smartphone or something, which he doesn't have.
Yeah, ever since I've been back on, I get a few QSL cards when I feel guilty, and I went online trying to buy QSL cards, and they're awfully expensive. And then I guess you can get them through the QRZ site, and you can do it electronically. So I've been off for a while. I have to get reacclimated to that.
Well, you could do like Dave. I mean, he hasn't done QSL cards. Somebody was asking him one night about it. They said, well, if I send you one, he says, don't even bother. He says, I won't get it.
From the standpoint that the mail service?
No, he just doesn't want them. He said he had, I believe he said one night at one time, many years ago, he had like 5,000 of them that he had gotten, and I don't know what he did with them. I never did. I asked him, but I got like a confusing answer. So some night I'll have to ask him again what happened to those cards, but he doesn't want any more.
Oh, that's wild. When I got back on here about a year ago, I was on an eBay site, and there was somebody selling QSL cards that all had been, used, stamped, and had, QSOs and RSTs and all that on them. And I was looking, and all of a sudden one caught my eye, and it was my old call sign in Buffalo, New York had been reissued. After I let it go, I moved out to the Midwest, and somebody else had it, and then it had expired already. I checked it out, and I thought, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's something, isn't it? A small world, I guess would be the right term, yeah. But there's a lot of places, I guess, that'll print them. I print my own. I mean, I don't really QSL, unless somebody absolutely positively needs it, but I just print my own if I want one.
Yeah, I guess maybe I should think about that. Do you use like decent paper or regular paper?
No, I use a poster card. I forget the weight of it. It's a certain weight, and I use a Photoshop competitor. Basically a program that is a lot like Photoshop, but it's a competitor, and you pay a one shot. It has a lot of better benefits than Photoshop does. Not quite as versatile, but I use that to make it. And then I have it set up where it'll print like 4 of them onto like this heavy It's a little bit thicker than a 3x5 card, you know, like a little note card that you would have. It's the paper's a little bit thicker than that.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to look into that. Also, I noticed that probably over half of the cards that I received were in an envelope. Is there something to that, to where they're putting them in envelopes?
Yeah, I always put mine in an envelope. They'll stamp the heck out of it. You know, it'll get dirty. They'll stamp it. One person tried to send theirs without an envelope, and I think it was the only one I got, and it was stamped all over where I couldn't tell. I couldn't make out the time or I could make out the date, but not the time or the signal report. The postal people stamped right over that.
Okay, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, that's a good point. Well, I guess I'll get myself in gear and see about doing that. And then there's some way you can actually have people, I guess, go into your QRZ site and they can print their own. I'm not sure, but it's not complicated.
Yeah, I don't know. QRZ can do quite a bit, you know, with a subscription. I subscribed to it for a year. But only because I wanted to have, you cannot download your log from there without a subscription. Now you can import into QRZ, but you cannot download the log unless you subscribe. So I subscribed for 1 year, and before it ran out quick, I got out and I downloaded the log, and now I've got a permanent log I just keep on my own computer. And I just update that, and I'll update QRZ and LOTW all at the same time. So I'll never have to do that again.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I guess I need to check in and get a username and a password and get on QRZ then.
Yeah, and their logbook is decent. I mean, a lot of hams will tell you it's not, but it's a nice basic logbook. And I've not had any problem with it. I mean, it's not the one that, well, that's all I used at first. And then but I use Linux anyway, so I don't use Windows loggers. But a lot of people have their favorite Windows logging programs that they use, you know, for ham.
Right. Yeah, I used to use the old ARL format with kind of had a little metal ring to hold the pages in. And then lately, since I got back on the air, I'm using a composition notebook that's left over from my son's class at Purdue.
Yeah, I've got an old, when I first got back on a couple years ago, for about the first 4 months, I used the same record book that I used before I left the hobby, 3 decades ago. It was a Yaesu logbook. Had a picture of a Yaesu, I think it's an FT757 or something on the front of it.
Huh. Yeah, this is non-ham radio. It's Calculus 3. So there was space left in it, so I'm almost done. So I'm going to have to get the electronic, I guess.
Yeah, Calculus 3. I had that course in college. It's the one that you take after you've learned all the fundamentals in Calc 1 and Calc 2.
Yeah, my son had a roommate, and his roommate at Purdue was, this is like he's a sophomore, had been there, I forget how many years, but had in the same dorm room, the same dorm bed, and he couldn't pass Calc 3. He wanted to be an electrical engineer, and I guess he just kept flunking the test. I don't know if he ever made it.
Yep, that's the drawback of it. I found Calc 3 a lot more difficult because snap your finger, and you had to recall a lot of these things that you did in Calc 1 and Calc 2 in multiple steps. I mean, you would use several, you wouldn't just have the single concept like you had in Calc 1 and Calc 2. You'd have to combine and use them. And it could be tricky. It really could. It was the most difficult of the calcs, I remember.
Yeah, that's what he said as well. It would shoot a lot of guys down. I coached the hockey team after I retired from broadcast industry for 50 years.